I don't know. I'm learning a lot about Stinger this week. Because I know he and Ric Flair go back a ways, but
Hmm.
uh, they're now destined for the end of Sting's career.
Well, yeah, let's talk about this. So a week ago from when we're recording this, um, Ric Flair was gifted to Sting. So my
Yeah.
understanding is that Tony Khan has purchased Ric Flair and now gifted Ric Flair to Sting.
Now, any other human on the planet, I would be
Mm-hmm.
disgusted at the thought of one human purchasing another.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Ric Flair, so I'm just kind of like surprised it took this long.
So, I mean, this is a fairly controversial thing because there had been plans for Ric Flair to come into AEW. I think,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm assuming the plan was for him to manage Andrade because remember, and
Yeah.
you know, so, but then the Dark Side of the Ring episode
Mm-hmm.
came out on the plane ride from hell, where, from what I understand, there was a helicopter within an airplane.
Yes.
Yes, and
Yes. Call sign RIC. Yeah. Yeah.
so the decision was made at that time. Okay, we can't bring
Yeah.
him in, and I guess maybe just now time has passed or whatever, or maybe just the idea is that this is something that Sting really legitimately does want for his retirement. I don't know, but the decision made was to bring Ric Flair in, and he
Mm.
came out last week. So
And so I have obviously, like a lot of people, complicated feelings about this.
yes,
Uh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, um, in that, I think it's in pretty poor taste to do this.
Hmm.
Um, I honestly can't think of anything that Ric Flair could contribute
Right.
to the storyline at this point. And I'm a huge Ric Flair fan. Like
Yeah, yeah.
the man is an idol and is a god.
Mhm.
But what's he really bringing to the table except being a sad gold guy who's trying to get Stinger to party with him like it's 1979 again? I don't know. And maybe I'll be proven wrong. Would be happy to be proven wrong, but I can't see it being worth this. And the other part of me too is like, what if it's just like a weird rib at Vince from Tony Khan? Like
Like here, I
you
have Ric Flair on my show, and
no more like you got busted doing creepy
oh,
stuff and lost
yeah.
your company for a while, and are being investigated by the SEC and so on and so forth. But I can do what I want with mine. Like I don't know. Tony has a weird social media thing happening.
I
I'm just saying, I don't think Ric Flair is really the big send off that Sting needs. Like, bring him in for a
yeah.
special episode, yes, but I don't think he needs to go with him.
I mean, it depends what they do, right? Like, I'm assuming they've got this story mapped out all the way to AEW Revolution. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what role Ric Flair is going to play in that. If they are going to bring back more people from Sting's past as we get closer, I think we mentioned before
Mm-hmm.
on last week that maybe Sting's last match has a bunch of CGI de-aged
Yeah, there you
wrestlers from
go.
his past. Bring in like if all of a sudden 1987 Ric Flair is on AEW programming, that's
Mm-hmm.
a whole different ball game.
I'm watching that Clash of the Champions.
But as it concerns like the Dark Side of the Ring episode and the allegations against Ric Flair, like it's this tricky thing with celebrities where if you're a big enough star, people will look past it, or your fan base will look
Yep.
past it. I think there's like Steve Austin
Yeah.
is a good example of that. Like Steve Austin,
Yeah, that didn't
domestic
come up in
abuse.
his biography.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not surprised that wasn't mentioned in the AEW documentary. So like, that's not good, and that's Steve Austin. But Steve Austin has made major contributions to pro wrestling. Ric Flair has made
Mhm.
major contributions to pro wrestling. And so, and they're both worth money to pro wrestling still. So it's this tricky thing where like if you're a mid carder and those allegations about you come out, then like you're
Yeah.
done, because the cost benefit analysis is not going to work out in your favor. But depending on the allegation, if you're a big enough star, the cost benefit analysis will. And like you said, like I don't really know how to feel about
Yeah.
that. I don't know what is the best thing to happen.
And I think that these kinds of like conflicting thoughts and feelings and so on and so
Uh-huh.
aren't how we wanted to associate Sting's retirement with us. So,
Yeah,
you know,
that's why like I look at this and I'm like, well, the cost benefit analysis to having Ric Flair on there when there's going to be a percentage of your fan base that is like, that's not cool that he's out there.
yeah.
I don't see that there's enough benefit to it to bring him in. Like he can cut promos, but like kind of like Flair is
Yeah.
like a hard 70 something,
Yeah.
so it's you're not going to get the same Ric Flair intense promos that you got 20 years ago.
And if you
When he
do,
was
they'll
only in his
kill
50s.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. So I don't
Also,
know. I
I got
mean,
to be honest, of all the wrestling unretirements, probably my least favorite.
Ric Flair's last match should not have happened. There's no way that should have happened. We all could have witnessed a death.
We all could have witnessed a death, and he had one of the most perfect exits from the business I think we've
Yeah,
seen.
yeah.
You know, like
Shawn Michaels at Mania.
like what a moment, what an incredible moment, and what a testament to the sport, so to
Yeah.
speak, that it can create a moment like that, and it's only fitting that Flair's part of it. So
I mean,
you know,
that
it's kind of
match is
it's like the ninth season of Scrubs, man. We should have just let it be.
I the Scrubs reference is not going to land on me, but
It's fair.
otherwise, yes.
They had 8 great seasons and then decided to make a ninth for virtually no reason, and it was unrecognizable as a show. And most fans of the show, like myself, just disregard it even exists.
But the Ric Flair Shawn Michaels match was so famous and so well reviewed and appreciated that like now whenever wrestling fans do something like say they're about to eliminate their friend in a video game or in a
Yeah,
football pool, how if you're a big enough wrestling fan, you might look at your friend and mouth the words, "I'm sorry, I love you," and then mime super kicking them. So
yeah.
yeah, that was like a very cool moment. And
If it comes up, that's definitely how I would do it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I love you.